Hi and welcome to a micro episode of the Park Life podcast. I'm your host, Michael Croker. This is a little bit of a small episode off the cuff that just gives me an opportunity to pay tribute to somebody who really mattered, not only in my life, but in the lives of many others that he touched inside the Australian theme park industry and certainly outside of it as well. That man was Tony Butler. I was hoping to get Tony on the podcast at some point because his story was a terrific story and he had an incredible impact in my life, both personally and professionally. And I knew his story would resonate with others. But I wasn't alone in that. He had a great impact on many people that he touched. He passed away suddenly only a few days ago, and it was clear that I was never going to get that conversation after all, so I thought the least I could do is make a bit of time now to drop a micro ep here in the series and at least let his name be known. I met Tony when I was 18 and I was transitioning out of the operations division at SeaWorld and into the show and entertainment division within the announcing department, and that was a little overwhelming at times. I was the youngest person in a very large crowd. There were marine mammal trainers and water skiers, and then of course the larger than life personalities in the announcing department itself. So finding your way as a young guy could be tricky. I had a moment about 6-9 months in where I thought, I don't know if it's in me, and I walked away from a marine mammal presentation one afternoon, and it was Tony and I that were working that day, and we were walking back from the marine mammal presentation over to the ski show site. I remember having a conversation with him about wondering whether or not this was a path that I could walk, and he was a great listener and he let me finish and then offered some advice and some counsel, which he was great at. And by the time I got to the other end of the park, I was settled and refocused. I wasn't special in that regard. Tony would do this with everybody he came into contact with. He was a terrific mentor. He was a fine announcer, and he was 100% a people-based personality. And proof of that came when he transitioned out of live show announcing and into training and development within Village Roadshow theme parks. And here he would actively work on growing people in all operating areas, whether it was retail, food and beverage, operations, technical services, or show and entertainment. That told me everything you needed to know about the man, that it didn't matter where he was placed, he would seek out to make a difference, and that was his fuel. When I sat at his service recently and heard other people speaking, people that I'd never met, they were all echoing the same traits, and I realised this was the mark of the man's character. We had many great conversations and there was nothing unsaid between us. I was hoping to get him on the podcast series because I know as a listener you would have really gotten a lot out of listening to Tony Butler's story. So I wanted to acknowledge Tony here and the powerful difference that he made in my life. Tony was a mentor, not only professionally but personally, and we all get our mentors during the time of our journey. Mentorship comes up a lot, as you'll hear in the podcast series, and I do bring it up as an idea quite a bit because I'm curious about other people's mentors and the importance that other people have played in their own lives, in their own journey, because often we're good at reflecting and looking back and then recognizing how special someone might have been. That's just something people do. We tend to reflect more than be present and recognize when those people are right there in front of us making a difference. And if we can recognize that, we can make sure we let them know. And letting them know makes the grief of losing those people in your life just a little bit easier, because you know that they knew. So to Tony Butler, on behalf of your Village Roadshow theme parks family and everybody that you touched, thank you. We had many conversations where it was all said. It would have been terrific to get one more so that others could hear it. But nonetheless, the lasting difference that you make lives on. To everybody that's been following the podcast, I appreciate your ears. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again with more full episodes in the coming week and beyond. Wherever you are in the world, keep well, and I'll see you next time.